I forgot the exact moment the sound started. Not the first night, because the first night I blamed the heat kicking on, the settling of old wood, the tiny pops and sighs a house makes when it's pretending to be asleep. I mean the moment it became a sound with a shape, a routine, a purpose. It was a scratching, slow, patient, like a fingernail dragged across fabric. It came from inside the mattress. The thing is, I didn't even notice it at first because I'd been exhausted. The kind of exhausted that makes your thoughts feel damp. I'd thrown myself into bed without turning the light off right away, scrolling until my eyes burned, and the screen blurred and the room around me felt far away. When I finally set my phone face down and rolled onto my side, the room went quiet enough that I could hear my own pulse. Then, I froze. The sound was faint, like someone in another room opening a drawer too carefully. I held my breath and waited for the house to do what houses do. Stop making weird noises the second you pay attention. But it didn't stop. It continued in a steady pattern, always in the same place, right under my ribs, a few inches below the surface, where the mattress dipped beneath my weight. My first thought was bugs, bed bugs, something crawling in the springs. My second thought was stupider. Someone is inside it. I sat up so fast my sheet slid off my legs. The scratching stopped immediately, like it had been listening for that reaction. That was the first night. The second night, I tried to prove to myself I'd imagined it. I stayed up later, drank water, made myself check the corners of the ceiling for spiders like a kid. I even pressed my ear to the mattress before I got in it, listening like I was trying to catch a whisper through a wall. Nothing. I lay down with a bitter little laugh, embarrassed at how tense my shoulders were. I started to relax. Then the scratching returned. Closer this time, I swear it was. Like whatever it was had moved up inside the mattress, following the heat of my body. The sound dragged in short strokes, then paused, then dragged again. Not random, not frantic, practiced. I slid my hand under my pillow and gripped the small pocket knife I kept there, more for comfort than anything. My finger hovered on the blade's notch. "Stop," I whispered, because that's what you say when you don't know what else to do. The scratching stopped. I waited. After a full minute, I let out a shaky breath. I almost laughed again, but something made me look down at the mattress, right where the sound had been. The fabric was smooth, pale gray, stretched tight. No tears, no stains, no movement. But there was a dent. Not the kind a knee makes or an elbow. A small, rounded depression, as if something on the inside had pressed outward and then held there. It wasn't big, maybe the size of a fist. It stayed for a few seconds, long enough that I could stare at it and feel my mouth go dry. Then it slowly, gently released, and the fabric eased flat again. I didn't sleep after that. I sat on the edge of the bed until dawn, knife in my hand, like it meant anything. When morning light finally filled the room, everything looked harmless. The mattress looked like a mattress. The sound had never existed. The dent was gone. I told myself that in daylight because it was easier than believing the other option. By the end of the week, I developed a system. I'd sleep with the lights on. Then I'd sleep with the TV on. Then I'd sleep with the TV and lights and my phone playing a podcast, the voices droning like a protective charm. Nothing worked. The scratching always started once I'd been still long enough, once my breathing slowed. It never came from anywhere else. Always the mattress, always under me, always as though something was learning the outline of my body by feel. Once I tried to catch it. The instant the scratching began, I rolled hard. throwing my weight to the other side of the bed like I could pin the source in place. I pressed my palm flat and held it there, feeling through the fabric. At first, nothing. Then, a pressure, faint but unmistakable, rose beneath my hand. Like something on the inside was pressing up, testing me. The mattress bulged against my palm in a slow, careful push. I jerked my hand away, heart hammering. The scratching resumed, not where I'd rolled from, but where I'd rolled to, as if it had followed. That was when I knew it wasn't springs or mice or bugs. It was responsive, and it was getting bolder. The next day I bought a new mattress. I told myself I was being dramatic, but I did it anyway, because I couldn't stand the thought of another night with that sound. I had the old one dragged out to the curb, watched 2 delivery guys fold it awkwardly and wrestle it through the door. When they carried it down the front steps, the mattress made a sound that wasn't fabric or foam. A muffled thump, like something inside had shifted. One of the delivery guys paused and frowned. "Man," he said, wiping sweat off his forehead. "This thing's heavier than it looks." The other guy grunted. "Old mattresses always are." They loaded it into the truck. The first guy slapped the side of it like it was a stubborn box. "You got a dog? Kids?" he asked. "No," I said too quickly. "Just me." He laughed, but his eyes lingered on the mattress a beat too long, like some part of him didn't like the way it had moved. When the truck drove away, relief hit me so hard I almost cried. I stood in my driveway, breathing in cold air like it was the first clean breath I'd had in days. That night, I slept on the new mattress. I fell asleep fast, like my body had been waiting. At 2:34 a.m., I woke up to the scratching. Same rhythm, same patience, same spot under my ribs. I lay there, completely awake, while the sound drew itself through the dark. My first thought was impossible. It followed me. My second thought was worse. It never left. I switched on the lamp with shaking hands and threw the blanket back. The mattress was new, white, crisp, still smelling faintly of plastic and factory. Nothing could be inside it. Nothing. Then I saw the dent. A small, rounded depression pushing up from inside the mattress, right beneath where I'd been sleeping. It swelled slowly, as if whatever was inside was taking a breath. And then, without any sound, something pressed against the fabric from underneath with enough force to make the seam strain. A shape formed. Not a fist. Not a foot. A hand. 5 long ridges pressed outward in a careful fan, like fingers exploring the surface. The fabric stretched tight over them, turning the hand into something pale and featureless beneath the cloth, but the shape was unmistakable. My throat locked. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. The hand stayed there for a moment, perfectly still, as if it knew I was watching. Then the fingers began to scratch. Not the way a trapped animal scratches. Not frantic, not desperate. Like writing. Shk, shk. The hand dragged one finger at a time in short strokes, pauses between them, deliberate. The sound was so close it felt like it was happening inside my teeth. I stumbled back until my calves hit the dresser. My knife was on the nightstand, uselessly out of reach. The hand stopped scratching and went still again. Then slowly it pressed harder. The fabric strained. The seam along the side of the mattress began to separate with a soft, tearing whisper. A thin line opened, just enough for something inside to push a fingertip through. A pale fingertip emerged, slick and gray, like it had never seen air. It curled, testing the outside world. Then a second finger slipped out. Then a third. I finally found my voice, but it came out as a hoarse, broken noise. I ran. I didn't stop to grab my phone. I didn't stop for shoes. I bolted down the hallway, out the front door,
and into the cold night like the air itself was safer than my own bed. The porch light snapped on, buzzing, turning the yard into a harsh little island. I stood there barefoot, trembling, staring at my front window. Nothing moved behind the glass. For a long time, the house just looked like a house. Then I noticed something. My bedroom curtain shifted. Not from wind. The window was shut. Not from my movement. I was outside. The curtain moved like something had brushed past it from the inside. A second later, the bedroom light clicked off. I hadn't turned it off. The lamp had been on when I ran. I backed away from the house, heart pounding so hard my vision pulsed. My breath came in white bursts. I kept my eyes locked on that dark window, waiting to see a silhouette, a face, anything. What I saw was worse. The mattress delivery tag was still stuck to the side of the new mattress, visible through the sliver of curtain gap. White paper, bold black letters. And beneath it, pressed against the window from the inside, a pale shape rose slowly, just the top edge at first, like someone lifting something heavy, like someone raising a mattress upright. The shape filled more of the window. The curtain bulged outward as it pushed against it. Then, through the fabric of the curtain, 5 long ridges pressed from behind. Fingers. A hand. It scratched once, slowly against the glass. Shh. And I understood, in a flash of nausea, that it wasn't in the mattress. The mattress was just where it chose to reach through. My phone was inside. My keys were inside. My coat, my shoes, my everything. I stood in the yard, barefoot and shaking, and watched as the curtain moved again, as if something inside was settling back down. The window went still. The house went quiet. And somewhere in that quiet, soft as a breath, soft as a fingernail on cloth, I heard it start again. Scratching. Not from the bedroom, from the porch, right behind me, under the welcome.